Yes, sir.
I'd like to open an account.
Yes, indeed, sir. And how much would you plan to deposit?
200. The name's Loring. Jim Loring.
Well, hello, Clay. Man, you look pushed. How'd it go?
How does 7 days in the saddle ever go?
I withdraw the question.
Taggart.
His name's Loring. Been in town close to a week. Cattle buyer, I think.
No. He's Bert Taggart. At least that's the name he used the last time he was tried.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Sheriff Clay Hollister had good reason to be uneasy. The notorious Bert Taggart was in Tombstone. After making a careful check of his activities since he had arrived, Hollister confronted him.
Hold it a minute.
Talking to me, Sheriff?
That's right, Taggart.
My name's Loring, Sheriff.
Loring, Brown, Smith, you can call yourself any name you want. You're still Bert Taggart.
So?
So what do you want in Tombstone? Why? Well, I just want to warn you. First wrong move you make, you're in trouble. Is that clear?
Cool customer.
Yeah. Just found out something about him.
What?
He's opened an account at the bank. A small account.
Uh-huh. Like taking coals to Newcastle.
Uh-huh. Withdrawals more in his line.
Doesn't prove anything, though, does it?
Nothing I can put him in jail for. Taggart's no run-of-the-mill gun hand, no petty thief. He's engineered some of the biggest crimes in this territory. He's up to one now.
And smart enough not to get caught.
So far.
Early morning, April 10. Sheriff Clay Hollister continued to keep a careful check on Bert Taggart's activities.
Going somewhere, Taggart?
What's it look like?
What's your hurry?
I don't like the way it smells around here. Not good enough for you?
It's in the saddlebags.
Tin Star, don't play with me unless you want to get yourself in a lot of trouble.
The saddlebags, Taggart. Open them up.
Why, you two-bit.
What's this, Taggart?
What does it look like?
Looks like you're under arrest. Under what charge?
Illegal possession of explosives. Assault on a peace officer. Let's go. Everything out of your pockets on the desk. That everything?
Yeah,
What about that?
it's just a letter.
On the desk.
You sure like the push, don't you?
On the desk. Watch, too.
It better be here when I get out.
It will be. Move. Just a couple of lines. Way to the crossroads south of Naco. You'll be contacted. No signature, just the letter D.
From Mexico,
Yeah, postmark Nogales.
That could mean anything or nothing.
Nothing. Take a look at that.
Dynamite? 40%. Whew, that's potent stuff.
Potent enough to blow the doors off of any safe in the country.
Hey, Sheriff. Come here a minute, will you?
Let's go see what he wants. I'm listening.
I suppose you read that letter. It's from Juan Diego,
Diego.
the Tiger of Sonora.
I've heard of him.
Let's put our cards on the table, Hollister. Maybe we can make a deal.
Now, you're doing the talking.
You turn me loose, and I'll give you my word I'll steer clear of Tombstone.
That doesn't sound like much of a deal from where I stand.
It will. You see, Juan Diego plans to go political. Now, that requires money, Sheriff, for guns. Guns for an army.
That's Mexico's problem.
Is it? You see, Juan Diego plans to get that money on this side of the border. That's where I come in. 5 years ago, I set up a few jobs for his brother, Ramon. That watch that you took, he gave it to me. It's engraved on the inside. To my good friend Bert Taggart from Ramon Diego.
Ramon Diego's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, 2 years ago in Agua Prieta. He was found in a gutter. No, Taggart, I still don't see a deal.
Tombstone's the richest town in the territory. Diego knows that. Now, if I don't show up, he's liable to come into this town and try to take it with his guns instead of my brains. He'll rip this town apart at the seams. Now, if you let me go, I'll swear I'll keep Diego and his killers out of Tombstone. He'll listen to me. He knows my reputation.
Knows it? Haven't you ever worked with him before?
No, just his brother Ramon. I've never met Juan Diego. But like I said, he knows my reputation. We made our deal by letter. Well?
I'll think about it.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard to figure. With me in jail, your people get killed out on the streets. Or me out of jail, there's no trouble.
Well, he's got a point, Clay.
There's one big flaw in his argument, Harris. If it isn't Tombstone, be some other town. Besides, he'd never keep his word. Taggart never met Juan Diego, huh?
Well, that's what he said.
With Taggart's papers, this letter, his watch, I could pass myself off as Taggart now, right? I mean, we're about the same age, height.
That's loco, Clay. It's like sticking your head in a lion's
Well, sure,
mouth.
it's a risk, but if it pays off, it's worth it, isn't it?
And if you lose?
Diego loses with me. And there won't be any towns butchered.
Well, it's a long chance, but it's the only one we've got. Diego's only interested in money. If he can get it without a fight for it, so much the better. You tell the telegraph operator the signal will be when the line goes dead. Clay says he's going to manage to cut it somehow.
Yeah, and when that happens, I want to ring a man around the bank. But out of sight. We don't want to tip our hands until we're ready. You got it?
Yeah.
See you later. Good luck.
Clay Hollister had assumed Bert Taggart's identity. Tombstone's life was at stake, and so was his own.
Your name?
Taggart?
Get on your horse. General Diego will be glad to see you.
General?
Yes. El Tigre de Sonora now is the General.
Who made him a general?
He did. Why? Get on your horse.
You the gringo who calls himself Taggart? When your brother, Ramon, gave me this, he called me compañero, not gringo. Ramon is dead. Speak no more of him.
I have heard of this dynamite. It is said that one little stick is more powerful than a cask of black powder.
That's right, General. Used properly, that little bundle of dynamite can do more damage to a safe than a whole wagon load of powder.
Teniente,
Sí, mi General.
ride to the main camp. See that the men are ready to move at daybreak.
Oh, wait a minute, General. You're not planning on taking your whole outfit, are you?
Why?
Well, that's just asking for trouble. Somebody's bound to spot a whole army on the move. A few men can move faster and less liable to be spotted.
There's much truth in what he says, mi General.
I will think of it. The morning will bring my decision.
Oh, you're the general.
Muy bien, sargento, nos vamos para el campo. Vamos sin perder el tiempo. Vamos sin perder el tiempo.
All right, that ought to do it. Give me the broom. He slugged me while I was cleaning out his cell.
And he knows right where to find Diego.
Well, he hasn't got a start. Maybe we can run him down.
There isn't a horse in the territory can run down that buckskin he stole.
That's for sure.
What are we going to do?
All we can do is wait. And hope Taggart breaks his neck.
Now, from 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning, there's nobody on the streets. Town's buttoned up. That gives us an hour to do a job that shouldn't take more than 20 minutes.
That will only take a handful. The rest of my army can spend its time more profitably.
How?
An army needs cattle for food. But most of all, we need money. How do we get inside the bank building?
Well, this alley leads around behind the bank. That back door shouldn't be too hard to force. We'll leave 2 men in the alley to guard against surprise. And you, me, and 2 other men will do the inside work. 4 o'clock, General. Time we got moving.
We are ready.
General! General! Mire!
If I did not need the money for my army, I would kill you both. One of you is lying. The question is, which one?
I swear. He's an imposter. I'm Taggart.
Silence. You have the watch, the letter,
I told you how he got him.
and what is more, you gave us the plan.
It's my plan. All right? If you won't kill him, I will.
Maybe he was Taggart. Maybe we find out for sure after you have done your part and we get the money. Give me your guns.
What's the idea?
You said yourself there wouldn't be any need for guns if we followed your plans, Senor Taggart. Do you feel differently now?
No, just so long as I get them back afterwards. They're a matched set. I wouldn't want to lose them.
You will get them back, gringo. But if you are not Taggart, we will bury you with them. Teniente, traigan los caballos y vámonos.
A los caballos.
5:10. Give it another try.
Still open. Well, I guess we could call it a night. If he was coming, it'd be cut by now.
You're probably right. I think I'll stick around a while just in case. If anything does happen, I know where to get hold of you.
Well, you know how to shut the key. I'll leave it open.
It is 5:30. Your plan was to cut the wire, was it not? Like you said, in this way they cannot alert other towns until after we are gone.
That's the plan.
Well, I think we change it. Later, after we get the money from the bank, we cut the wire. You agree?
Oh, no, I don't.
Correct me if I'm in error. If someone were in the telegraph office and the wire was cut, that could be a signal, no?
What are you getting at?
It's very simple. If this is a trap, you will be the first to die. Is that understood, gringo?
Understood.
I just had an amusing thought. If that other fellow was telling the truth, you, the sheriff, will be robbing your own town. Adelante! Dame la barra.
Got Clay under the gun in there. Diego must suspect something.
What are we going to do?
We wait.
Something wrong, Gringo? I'm just a little bit nervous. You got a smoke? Thanks. What now?
It'd be best if you could move it a couple of feet away from the wall.
Why would that be?
Do what he says and be silent, both of you.
Another foot, we got it. You should have brought some of your bigger men along, General.
Push, Antonio. Push, Jorge. Just a little bit more should do it. Push, you fools. We haven't got all day. Let me give you a hand.
Hi, Harriet. You got a match?
It is with sincere gratitude the Mexican government expresses appreciation of your efforts in capturing the bandit known as El Tigre de Sonora. A detachment of troops will arrive at the international border to receive custody of your prisoner on the 19th of this month. Yours in friendship, Armando Ramirez, Secretario Particular to El Presidente Porfirio Diaz. You ought to frame this, Clay. Next time you go jump on the border after some gunman, it might come in handy.
All right, General. Let's go. You will pay for this, Gringo.
Sure.
Sure.
Juan Diego, self-made general. I wonder what makes him do it.
I don't know. At least he'll get a military funeral in front of a firing squad.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
His job seriously. and he was in no mood to entertain out-of-town callers.
I don't care if this man Ferguson is the president's representative. I can't talk to him now. I'm sorry, Harris.
All right. I'll tell him.
Here he comes. Watch him, Joe. He's got 4 arms and a gun in each hand. It still only takes 1 slug to kill him.
Put your hands up.
Joe, you ain't giving up without a fight after coming here to get him.
So that's Clay Hollister.
Yes. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Looking for me, Joe?
Not anymore.
Who told you to kill me, Big Brother Ed?
Good work, Sheriff.
All right, let's get you to jail and have the doc take a look at that arm.
Sorry, Sheriff. I guess I spoke to you at the wrong time. I'm Ferguson from Washington.
Yeah, I know. Editor Clyburn told me you wanted to talk to me.
That's right.
You almost lost your chance.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Mid-morning in Tombstone, October 16, 1882. There had already been 1 arrest, a near killing, and the Conference on Crime was in session.
So, President Arthur sent me out here to investigate your mounting crime and lawlessness. He feels that Tombstone is a blot upon the entire country. Your Boot Hill is proof enough of that.
Mr. Ferguson, wherever there's sudden wealth, there's always sudden death, whether it be a diamond strike in Africa or a silver strike in Arizona.
What's your opinion, Clyburn?
There is crime and lawlessness in Tombstone, yes. That's in the nature of a boom town. But most important, our law has never lost the upper hand.
Then why should any newspaper send me all the way from New York to do stories about Tombstone? Gentlemen, you know this is one of the most notorious towns in the West.
Hope you're not expecting too much, Miss Blythe. You could be disappointed.
Oh, I'll get my stories.
Good newspaper woman, Clay. Those were fine stories you sent up last spring from Panama about the digging of the canal.
Thank you. I think this investigation will make good copy, too.
Please understand, the president merely wants to offer his help if you need it.
The law's getting control.
How about your Apaches? You don't seem to have them under control.
They're more a matter for the military. General Crook and the cavalry, although we do work hand in hand.
The famous General Crook?
He'd be more famous if he could catch Geronimo.
They're very interested in reading about the Apache wars back east.
Yeah, we'd rather read about them, too.
Been wanting to interview the general. Just can't seem to get down to Fort Huachuca at the same time he's there.
That's where General Crook is now?
Or somewhere in the mountains. Pretty treacherous country.
Elizabeth Blythe had come to Tombstone for a story, and she was determined to get it. She rode out toward Fort Huachuca and the dangers of outlaw country. Where's that lady going, do you know?
Fort Huachuca. Try to find General Crook.
Fort Huachuca. I'm Ferguson, special investigator for the president. Get me a horse, will you? I'd like to see if I can head her off.
Why, yes, sure. I got one already.
Thanks. Thank you. Would you give this message to the telegraph operator? I'd like Fort Huachuca to send a cavalry guard to meet Miss Blythe on the road.
I sure will.
Elizabeth Blythe continued her ride toward Fort Huachuca, unaware that the president's investigator was riding out after her, or that one of the Chandler gang was also riding hard out of Tombstone.
Open up, Ed. Ed, I got news for you.
Sheriff's dead, huh?
No. The sheriff got Joe in the arm, threw him in jail.
Jail? You stood around like a bum on a log?
Well, Ed, there weren't a thing I could do then. Ed, wait a minute. Don't you want to hear the news?
What news?
About that galoot from Washington.
What about him?
He was sent here by the president to keep an eye on Tombstone. He's headed this way right now, chasing after some gal newspaper reporter from New York.
Yeah. I like that.
Clay!
Yeah?
Ferguson and Miss Blythe are gone.
Oh, back east?
No such luck. They both rode out toward Fort Huachuca.
Great.
The Chandler gang had a plan to intercept the two riders on their way to Fort Huachuca. Clay Hollister sensed trouble and rode against time.
That was a very foolish thing to do, Miss Blythe. You should have told us your plans.
Well, I'm not that foolish. If I were, I couldn't have left Tombstone. I'm going on to get my story from General Crook.
What's this all about?
The boss got lonesome, wants company.
I don't think he'll want mine. Do you know who I am?
That's the reason he wants to see you. The young lady there may get a good story.
It'll be about you.
Oh, no.
Howdy, Mr. Hollister. Where are you headed for?
I'm looking for a girl newspaper reporter and a man who set out to find her.
So are we. He wired the fort to send a guard out to meet him.
Well, I can't understand how you missed him.
Me either. Hope nothing's wrong.
Look, Corporal, take your men up through the Huachucas on the way back. I'll ride through the whetstones.
Glad to, Hollister.
And, if you find out anything, wire my deputy in Tombstone.
Right. Hello.
Step up.
Gonna get a drop by, mister. You too, miss.
You'll be doing some dropping yourself. From a scaffold.
That's big talk, mister. From an hombre in your fix.
He has every right to talk big. He's speaking for the United States government.
I know. Sent by the president. That's why I brought him here. I have a small favor to ask of a big man.
What's that?
My brother's in jail in Tombstone. The sheriff shot him. You're going back and release him.
Your brother's in no condition to travel, Chandler.
He'll make it.
I refuse.
Mister, you're in no position to refuse anything.
We'd better go back to Tombstone and do as he asks.
Not you, miss. You're staying here till my brother shows up.
I'm not leaving here without Miss Blythe.
Are you ready to go back to Tombstone?
Without Miss Blythe? No.
Please, you've got to do as they say.
I want my brother here within 6 hours. And tell Hollister that if he makes one move that looks like a double cross, we clear out for Mexico. With the little lady.
In that case, I guess I have no choice.
Put the blindfold back on him. Take him back where you picked him up. Then he's on his own.
Men together. What's up? Ferguson and that girl, Miss Blythe, disappeared somewhere between here and the fort.
How many do we need?
All we can get.
Ferguson, where's Miss Blythe? She's with the brother of the man you shot and arrested. His men picked us up. He's holding her prisoner.
Ed Chandler. Sit down. How did you get away?
I'm supposed to tell you to release his brother and get him back to Chandler within 6 hours. Or they take Miss Blythe to Mexico. We've got less than 3 hours to get his brother back there.
Back where?
That, I don't know.
The afternoon of October 16, 1882. The investigator of crime in Tombstone had found some. And had found himself right in the middle of it.
I've been trying to get something on the Chandlers. They're suspected of murder, rustling, smuggling, armed robbery, everything in the book.
I'll get the men to follow Joe. Maybe we can find him that way.
Never mind the posse. Had to just skip over the border with the girl. Feel like taking a ride?
Depends on where to.
Back to your brother. I'm turning you loose.
Oh? What's the joker?
Seems like a good idea.
Afraid Ed'll come with the boys and blast the town, huh?
Maybe.
Or maybe you think you're gonna follow me and find Ed, huh?
I'm not gonna follow you. I'm gonna take you.
All right. There's nothing I'd like more than getting you within range of Ed's guns.
Quint, I'm gonna take your horse. Mine's tired out.
Sure, Clay.
And don't let anybody follow us.
We won't. But if you're not back by tomorrow, the whole town will go out after you.
We'll be back.
And don't let anything happen to that on the way, or Miss Blythe is a gunner.
Yeah. First you have to shoot him, and you have to keep him alive.
The life of Elizabeth Blythe depended on delivering Joe Chandler before the 3-hour deadline had passed. Chandler grew weaker, and the ride was slow. Time was running out.
Hold it. Well, I'm glad to see you're so full of fight. Afraid I was going to lose you before you led me to your brother.
You smart up, lawman. Go on back. You don't know what you're walking into.
Mount up.
I guess we better get ready to ride. Looks like Joe isn't going to show up. You'll find lots of things to write about in Mexico, miss.
Chandler! Send the girl out, I'll turn your brother loose.
No! Turn Joe loose, then I'll let the girl go.
I'm calling this.
How do I know you'll let him go?
She walks to me slowly, he walks to you slowly. And I'll have him covered every step of the way.
You'll shoot him.
Unless I have to. Give me the girl, there won't be any shooting, this time.
All right. Did you get Hollister when you had the chance?
You were just too fast for me.
Well, he's not too fast for me. We'll get him now.
I helped start all this. I'm sorry.
Stay down. Here, make yourself useful.
Keep him pinned down. I'll go get him from the back.
Hey, you're not running out on me when I'm hurt. It'll blast you.
Ed's dead, and you know it.
He ain't dead. He'll be back. He just gunned down Hollister. I know he did.
Then where is he? You wait for him. Still a couple left in the house.
Come on out, Joe. You haven't got a chance. Men are gone, your brother's dead.
You're lying. He ain't dead.
You're all alone, Joe. Come on out. How are you at writing obituaries? Going back to jail, Joe.
How long did it take you to run down Pete and the other one?
Wore out 2 horses, but that takes care of the Chandler outfit. I won't need keys to keep the ones up on Boot Hill out of trouble.
You don't like your job, Sheriff.
I don't like killing.
Hollister, I came out here to report on the crime wave in Tombstone.
Yes, and when you interrupted an arrest to tell me that, Joe Chandler almost killed me.
I'm going to report that there is crime, a lot of it. But it's being held in check.
I'll second that.
My recommendation will be absolutely no interference by federal authorities. And you know how I'm going to back that up?
How?
By leaving for Washington myself on the first stage.
Mr. Ferguson, have a good, safe trip.
Thank you.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
shop.
I've warned you before about Yehu in this town, Buckhorn.
Don't you bluff me.
I caught that Indian stealing horses from the mission.
That's Little Hawk, one of Father Miguel's most trusted Indians.
No more he ain't. The Padre was with me when we spotted him stealing the horses.
No, I do not steal mission horses.
Shut your lying mouth.
That's enough.
If Father Miguel caught him, it looks like an open and shut case, Hollister. You've had too much horse stealing from renegade Apaches lately. Why don't you do something about it?
Little Hawk isn't riding with the renegades anymore, Mr. Griffin.
So he says. But we have two witnesses. Just Buckhorn here and Father Miguel. You believe the Padre's testimony, don't you?
I will, when I hear it from him.
We ain't got time for that, Hollister. What we need around here is a sheriff that knows what to do with a rope when he's dealing with horse thieves.
The circuit judge will be here in 2 days. Little Hawk will have his trial then.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. The morning of April 27, 1880 had gotten off to a typical Tombstone start. Gunfire had greeted the day. But this time, nobody had been killed. Thus far.
You're a lucky Indian, Little Hawk. Buckhorn's a good shot.
We're lucky, too. If that gunslinger had killed Little Hawk, we might have had some real Indian trouble.
Yeah, we might not be out of the trouble yet. Griffin was right about one thing. Ranchers have been losing a lot of horses lately.
I tell you again, Sheriff Hollister, I do not steal mission horses. I was only taking them to better pasture.
We'll see.
It is the truth. Buckhorn lies.
Somebody's lying.
I gave my promise to Padre Miguel to try to learn the good life. I would not take back that promise. I would be what the white men call an Indian giver.
That's right, Little Hawk. You would be.
You must have had every chance to kill that Indian before he reached Tombstone. Why didn't you?
Well, don't you think I tried? That Indian knows every trick in the book. Fellow is like shooting at smoke.
I hired you to cause Indian trouble. Now, what about it?
Well, it ain't been so easy. Those renegades have been awful quiet lately. Till Little Hawk decided he wanted himself some nice, fat mission ponies.
Father Miguel actually saw him taking the stock?
Plain as day. Little Hawk thought the Padre was having a siesta. So he rounded up 6 of the best ponies and was moving them out as I rode in. The Padre came running out when he heard the ruckus.
The Padre is bound to tell the truth as he sees it. Perhaps it's just as well you didn't kill Little Hawk.
You gonna let that Indian go to trial?
No. Now the whole town thinks that he's guilty. I'll play that up. We'll have a lynch mob.
I don't like it, Clark. It's too quiet.
How do they cool off?
In a saloon, Buckhorn's bad enough when he's sober, but when he gets liquored up, look out.
Seems a lawyer like Griffin would be too smart to go along with lynch law.
Yeah, but he was all for it this morning.
guess wrong.
Yeah. Wait a minute. There's another way. Quet, you and Dexter go out the back way and get our horses.
Right, Clay.
What are you going to do? Little Hawk came from the mission. He's going back there. You think you can hold him off until we get away?
Well, they're not mad at me yet.
Hollister, we want Little Hawk. Bring him out.
Come on, bring him out, Hollister. We're breaking in.
Hollister, we want Little Hawk.
Come on in, Griffin. Nobody's stopping you.
All right, men, let's go.
What are you doing here, editor?
Just reporting the news, Buckhorn, as it occurs. I've got a fitting headline for tomorrow's edition of the Epitaph. Lynch law returns to Tombstone. Thanks to one of its leading citizens, attorney Fred Griffin, this edition marks the probable death of the town once called Too Tough to Die.
Get out of the way, Clyburn.
They're gone.
Where are they?
I thought you were the one with all the answers, Griffin.
All right, Clyburn. Hollister wins the first round, but Tombstone's going to have a new sheriff, and I'm going to see to it, personally. And another thing, editor. Hollister has to bring that Indian back to Tombstone sometime, and when he does, we're going to finish what we started here. You understand? Come on.
Sheriff Clay Hollister knew Indians. But sometimes, the more you knew about them, the less you knew about them. He was taking no chances with Little Hawk.
I think I'll let Quint have one of the reins going through the mountains. Wouldn't want that horse to run away with you. Could be hard to find.
Sheriff Hollister, welcome.
Sanctuary, Padre. Padre, help me. In Tombstone, they shot at me. They put me in jail.
Yes, I have heard. But these are our good friends.
We are, Padre, if Little Hawk's innocent. Otherwise, you'll have to pay.
But I did not steal the horses. I was only driving them to better pasture.
Toward the rocks of the Cherry Colors?
Padre, I know a green valley with better water.
You better save that for the judge and jury. Meantime, we have to save him from a lynch mob's rope. You can't very easily try a dead man.
They will shoot me anyway, or hang me. Sanctuary, Padre, sanctuary.
You need no sanctuary from them, even if I could grant it.
Does that mean that Little Hawk is guilty of horse stealing, Father Miguel?
Well, if so, please try to understand. The Apache thinks differently about animals than the white man. To take another man's horses is a great honor in his tribe.
He isn't in his tribe anymore. He's a mission Indian now. He's got to observe our laws and customs.
That is true.
The circuit judge is due in Tombstone day after tomorrow. Can you hide him until then? Keep him in custody? Till trial time?
Custody?
If you got some place to lock him up, my deputies will guard him.
Well, we have no locks here. Unless the granary. That is a safe place.
May I see it, please?
Why, of course. This is the only door with a key. Without it, my Indians would eat all of the grain in one day.
I guess we all have our troubles, Padre.
Yes.
Little Hawk, I'm holding you here until your trial.
Thank you, Sheriff Hollister. I will not forget what you have done.
Yeah. Just don't give the Padre any trouble. And make sure I'm leaving my deputies here.
They will be welcome guests.
Thanks, Padre. In case you need them.
When you come back for Little Hawk, I will accompany you to Tombstone. I will do all I can for him.
I know you will. And it's in the hands of the court.
I understand.
Sheriff Clay Hollister started his long ride back to Tombstone. For the time being, he had saved a life. That was one of the sheriff's sworn duties.
Padre, I must talk to you. I want to confess.
Yes, my son.
Padre, help me.
Tell the judge you were wrong. That I did not steal the mission horses, but was driving them to a better pasture. Well, it will be up to him to decide if that is true. I will help you all I can at the trial.
There will be no trial, no judge, and no rope. Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop it or he dies! Move! Lock the door. Lock it. No door!
Padre! Padre! The keys! The keys, Padre! Right there on the floor. Thought I better ride out and tell you. They're after your scalp in town. They want a new sheriff.
Who's they?
Griffin, Buckhorn, and the mob?
They just want a quick hanging or another Indian war. And I'm not a...
Little Hawk, he escaped. Shot Dexter and knocked out Father Miguel.
He said he wasn't an Indian giver. Let's go.
How is he?
He's coming around. Dexter?
Not so good.
Tried to stop him.
I know you did, Father. Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
Chiricahua.
Quint, I got those handcuffs. You and Harris hitch up a wagon. Take Padre Miguel and Dexter back to town.
Right, Clay. What about you?
I'm going after Little Hawk.
Man, are you out of your mind? You can't go up there alone. That's Indian country.
There's just one Indian I'm worried about.
You'll be riding into a trap. He'll shoot you before you even know he's anywhere around. Now, look, I'll go back to Tombstone and pick up a posse. And...
Who? Lawyer Griffin and that lynch mob that are out after my hide? No, thank you.
Clay, remember, he's got 2 guns.
Yeah? So have I.
Little Hawk was headed to the Chiricahuas, the mountains where bands of marauding renegades defied the white man. Sheriff Hollister continued a relentless pursuit. Little Hawk finally arrived at a vantage point in the mountains where he could rest and wait and kill. Little Hawk's trail grew harder and harder to follow. The inner Chiricahuas were known only to Indians. For the white man, it was no man's land.
You're headed in the wrong direction. Your trial's back in Tombstone, remember?
Where they can't wait to hang me.
They just might hang you now. It's a pretty bloody trail you left.
All right, Sheriff. I will go with you. But you will have to help me. I've hurt my hand. See?
So you decided to bring him back, huh, Hollister? Hold it! You want me, Buckhorn? We're not taking any chances this time, Hollister. We're all agreed there's gonna be a hanging. Now. So I'm taking that horse thief and killer. You talking for yourself or for Lawyer Griffin here? I'm talking for everybody in town. You're through, Hollister. These people here will tell you so. We don't like Indian lovers. And we're going to end it all by hanging that horse thief. Maybe. If the court says so. The court? There's always loopholes. We're hanging him now. I don't think so. I do. Looks like Little Hawk's gonna have some company in jail. Hey, aren't you gonna do something, Griffin? Come on, Buckhorn. Oh, wait a minute. He hired me to make trouble for the Indians.
He's lying. Would you take the word of a drifter?
I was no drifter when you needed my gun to help you get the Indian land so you could sell it to the railroads. You're a smart lawyer. You should know the penalty for persecution and fraud, not to mention inciting a lynch mob. Will you join us, Mr. Griffin? What about Dexter and Father Miguel?
They're all right. Both be as good as new in no time. What do you think will happen to Little Hawk?
He'll be tried. You first put it on, everything seems so simple. Crime, justice, black and white.
And?
Then you have to protect a horse thief. Save him from a mob.
That's as it should be.
Yeah? In the meantime, a padre gets clubbed down, one of your own deputies gets wounded.
But nobody was killed. And many might have been if you hadn't moved your prisoner. You and your deputies couldn't let that mob take him.
Harris, you're a great comfort to me.
You just need someone to talk to.
No. No, but sometimes my conscience does. How about some dinner?
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Brothers, Rip, Coley, and Ben, the younger element of Tombstone, and its future citizens.
There's your troublemakers, Clay. Take your choice. The fine's $10 apiece and 3 days in jail.
Well, you're bearing down a little hard, ain't you, Sheriff?
We were just trying to have a little fun.
Sure, just flexing our muscles. You know, having a few laughs. It's getting so a person can't even let off a little steam in this town.
The next time you start a saloon brawl, it won't be just a fine and a night in jail. I'll lock you up for so long you can set up housekeeping.
It's about time.
Well, I didn't know you were in jail until this morning.
All right, pay the man. Let's get out of here.
I'm sorry about my brother, Sheriff. How much is their fine?
$10 apiece, Miss Thomas. They won't listen to me, so I'm going to tell you. Maybe you can talk some sense into them.
Well, they'll listen to me, and they better.
They've got to grow up and start acting their age.
We can do without the lectures. That goes for you too, Hollister.
Because if they don't, they're going to wind up killing somebody or getting killed themselves. There are your guns. Keep them holstered.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sheriff. At least for now.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. The Thomas brothers were important to Tombstone. They were the future of the town. And the way things have been going lately, Sheriff Clay Hollister had good reason to be concerned about them. Morning, Clay.
Hello, Harris.
On my way to breakfast. Care to join me?
No thanks. I'm not hungry. Just had a stomach full of the Thomas brothers. It's the third time this month I've had to hold them in.
You ought to keep a permanent cell for them. Charge rent. A second home, so to speak.
Uh-oh, trouble.
Anybody else got ideas?
Cowboy, you just bit off more than you can swallow.
Hold it. Give me the gun.
I'm walking out of here, Sheriff. Don't try stopping me.
Give me the gun. Now, suppose you tell me what happened.
We were just trying to have a little fun when all of a sudden he get mad.
He shot Ben before we knew what was happening.
How about hearing my side of it, Sheriff? That is, if you're interested.
I'm interested. Let's go.
You haven't heard the last of us, mister. You can bet on it.
All good. Your story better be right. You settled down enough yet to start talking?
I didn't ride into this town looking for trouble, Sheriff. All I wanted was a job. I warned them twice to leave me alone, but no, they had to keep calling me a saddle bum and a drifter. Got a lot of laughs out of everybody. Then accidentally, on purpose, one of them spilled his drink on me.
So you were paid the compliment by shooting him?
Talking doesn't get through to some people, Sheriff. They have to be shown.
Well, that little demonstration may get you a term in jail.
You ever had trouble with the law before?
You mean locked up? No.
Well, I'm sorry to spoil your record. Let's go.
Hello, Harris. Oh, hello, Clay. Glad you stopped by. I'm writing an editorial here. I want you to hear it. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young men who come here seeking work. Let us demonstrate our friendship by offering them a fair chance at jobs and the opportunity to become decent citizens. Tolerance will make our community a better place to live. Well, then it goes on, but that's the idea. What do you think?
Oh, I think the same as you. Just come from a long talk with Judge Parker. We talked about Paul Hayden.
I guess he's the one who started this. The kid needs a break, no doubt about it.
Judge has given him one. He's put him on probation.
Oh, Clay, I think that's an excellent idea.
Of course, there are going to be some problems, but between the two of us, I think we can work them out.
What kind of problems?
Well, as sheriff of Tombstone, I couldn't very well have him paroled in my custody, so I had him paroled in yours.
You did what?
Well, now, just don't go bringing your blood to a boil.
Well, you might have consulted me first.
It never occurred to me that you'd object.
Oh, it never occurred to you. Well, I do. I've got too much to do around here to properly take care of the boy.
Calm down.
No, sir, it's too much responsibility.
Wait a minute. Let me read you something. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young men...
All right. Trapped by my own editorial. Paul, you better start a new paragraph here. Well, hello, Karen. This is a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Mr. Claiborne. I was just passing by and remembered I hadn't renewed my subscription to the paper.
Oh, shucks. I thought perhaps this was a personal call. Oh, excuse me. Paul, having such an attractive young lady in the office almost made me forget my manners. Miss Karen Thomas, this is my new assistant, Paul Hayden.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Thomas.
Hello. Well, I better pay you and run along. I don't want to be late for the bank.
If you have a moment, I'll write you out a receipt for this.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Mr. Claiborne. Nice to have met you, Mr. Hayden.
Pleasure.
Karen, wait a minute. I just remembered I have some business at the bank myself. Paul, would you take this over and get me some change for it?
How do you want it?
I don't care. Nickels, dimes, quarters. No reason for you to walk to the bank alone.
You don't mind company?
Oh, I'd be delighted, Mr. Hayden.
Hey, Paul. Well, aren't you something? No need to ask what happened to your paycheck. You're wearing it. Sit down.
Fellow's got a right to buy new duds, hasn't he?
He sure has. But you'll have to admit they're a little fancy to be wearing to work.
As a matter of fact, I was going to ask for the morning off. Karen's coming to town and...
Sure, Paul. You go ahead.
But we're kind of busy. Sure you can get by without me, all right?
Well, it'll be tough, but I'll try.
Well, now, look who's just leaving.
Well, just the man I've been looking for. It's time we settle with this drifter. Nice looking hat. Mind if I look it over for a while? I've been thinking about getting me a new hat.
Fitting that over swelled head of yours is going to be a job. Let's have the hat back.
Sure, drifter. There you are. Put a few ear holes in it for you.
I'm not wearing a gun or I'd give you something to shoot at.
Now, you wanted a gun? There it is.
Leave it, Paul. He's on probation. He can't do any fighting. But I can.
Well, it's all right with me if you want to stick your nose in this.
Is this a private fight or can anybody join in? All right, what's going on?
Never mind, Clay. There's no real harm done.
That's right. The drifter here is on probation. Don't want him getting into trouble.
You want to prefer charges, Harris? I'll lock him up right now.
No. But they pay for the hat.
How much was it?
$5.
It's a pretty expensive target.
It was worth every penny of it. And I got some advice for you, Drifter. Keep away from my sister.
And if I don't?
The next time we shoot at that hat, you'll be wearing it.
You should let me lock him up, Harris.
Why? It's never done any good before. A couple of days in jail isn't going to teach them anything.
They bother me again, I'll start their education. And I'll finish it, too.
No, you won't, Paul. You do that and I'll finish it by jailing all of you.
Although Paul Hayden had only been in Tombstone a short time, he had run into trouble with the Thomas brothers twice. There was going to be a third time. He was going to be prepared for it.
Hello, Paul? Been shopping?
Picked up my shirts at the laundry.
Looks like a lot of starch in your shirts. You know, I could swear I just saw you coming out of the gun shop.
Probably some other fellow.
Interesting looking laundry.
The way I look at it, wearing a gun's part of being dressed.
Probation law doesn't agree with you. It says you can't carry a gun or leave town.
Does it say what I'm supposed to do about Rip Thomas and his brothers?
No, but I can tell you. Grin and bear it.
Yeah. They're not pushing you around.
Would you rather serve out your sentence in jail? Look, Paul, you got a good job and you met a nice girl. Could be worse.
I'll keep out of trouble.
All right. You won't need this. Take it back, get your refund.
Hey, do you know it's almost 8 o'clock? Time we called it a day. Here, you can set this up tomorrow.
Mr. Clyburn, I think I'd like to stay here and finish this tonight.
Oh? Well, if you're going to wait, I will too. I've got plenty I can do.
Mr. Clyburn, go home?
Well, how do you like that? Thrown out of my own office. Say hello to Karen for me.
I hope you don't mind us meeting here like this.
Of course not. Not the most romantic spot you can find, but, well, at least it's private.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clyburn.
Good night, Paul.
Get the shade, Ben. Well, you look surprised, Drifter. Maybe you were expecting someone else.
We told you to stay away from Karen, but you don't hear it too good, do you?
Not when you talk.
Well, by the time we're through, maybe you'll learn to listen a lot better. You got off lucky, Drifter. You keep away from Karen, and next time we'll kill you.
this mess. No need to guess what happened after you left. I checked Paul's rooming house. He wasn't there. And his horse is missing from the livery stable.
Well, if he's left town, he's in trouble.
The boy would have been just fine if Rip and his brothers had left him alone.
I'll take care of them later. Right now, I'm more concerned about Paul. Harris, where do you keep your rifle?
Here. Well, it was here when I left last night.
We better get out to the Thomas place.
We're just going in town after you, Hollister. Glad you showed up.
I'll bet you are.
Particularly after what happened to my place last night.
Have you seen Paul?
The drifter? No. But when we do...
He was here. And when he left, he took Karen with him. Now, they couldn't have gone very far, because I heard Karen moving around in the house about an hour ago.
Him running off is a violation of his probation, isn't it, Hollister?
I'll bring him back.
Well, you go right ahead, Sheriff. We'll just look for Karen.
Yeah, and when we find her, if she just happens to be with that drifter, well, that's his tough luck.
Okay, let's go.
We got some ground to cover.
What happens if he won't go back with us?
He will. Nice day for a ride.
Sure is, Sheriff. And we're going to keep right on enjoying it.
Paul, we've come to take you back to town.
Sorry to disappoint you, Sheriff, but Karen and I are moving on.
Easy, boy. We're out here to help you.
You're a little late.
I don't think so. You said all you wanted was a decent break. Well, you got it. And the first time things got a little bit rough, you turned tail and ran.
So you moved to another town. There'll always be a situation that needs facing.
Maybe he's right, Paul. We can't keep wondering and worrying about when my brothers are going to show up. We'd never be happy that way. Let's go back together.
You sure that's what you want, Karen? What about my probation? I wasn't supposed to leave town or carry a gun.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you and Karen just took a canter to the city limits. They're pretty big.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Harris, you take Paul back to the shop. Karen, I want to ride to the ranch with you. I want to talk to your brothers.
Fine. awfully angry, Mr. Hollister.
So am I.
You got some mighty fancy explaining to do.
Wait until we get our hands on that drifter.
Look, Karen's back and there's no harm done.
Keep out of this, Hollister. This is a family affair.
That's right. Just because you're wearing a badge doesn't give you the right to keep sticking your nose into our business.
I say it's a good thing he has it on. It gives him protection.
Well, I can always take it off. It's about time somebody taught you three to grow up. Since nobody else has offered to do the job, I'll volunteer.
Hollister, beating you is going to be a pleasure.
You want to try next?
You betcha.
You still feel like fighting after your arm gets well, you know where to find me. I want you and your brothers in my office tomorrow morning at 10. Thanks.
Come. All spruced up. Well, you're right on time. I was going to lock all three of you up. Figured a jail term would do you good. Since the damages to the epitaph office have been paid and Paul here doesn't want to prefer charges, you're free to go.
You mean you ain't going to press charges?
Sheriff Hollister kept me from going to jail, and I thought I should pass on the favor.
Oh, don't just stand there looking foolish. Shake hands.
I'd like to apologize.
Mom, forget it.
Me too.
About time you showed some judgment.
It must have been that licking you gave us. Sort of helped us grow up.
Yeah, the hard way. Speaking of growing up, we all look a little older today.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Pete Barker knew the Oriental Saloon had taken in a lot of money. Men at the bar. Get over to the wall.
Drop the gun.
And I'm certainly glad that it's you, Sheriff, because
There's a holdup in there. In fact, I think he's still in there.
Really? That bag of money you got in your hand makes me think he's right out here.
There?
That's right. Drop it. Any more tricks, friend? Inside. You're not going to kill me? Guess you haven't heard about Tombstone, friend. I got a little thing here called due process of law. Means I'm supposed to take you in alive. If I can.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. September 8, 1881. Not quite a month later, Reed Barker had been tried and convicted of armed robbery and murder. But the trouble was only beginning.
Something I can do for you?
Come and see a guest of yours, Sheriff. Reed Barker.
Sorry, Barker isn't allowed any visitors.
Well, it hardly seems fair not to let him see his own kin. He's my brother.
Your brother?
That's right, Sheriff. I'm Seth Barker. Now, wouldn't I be plumb out of my head to come here if I was wanted someplace, Sheriff? I'm not like old Reed. Never done nothing wrong in my whole life. And Reed, he don't have no kin at all except me.
All right, I'll give you 5 minutes with him.
You act like you kind of feared old Reed, Sheriff.
Unbuckle your gun belt.
You feared of me too, Sheriff?
A murderer who shoots people in the back just might have a brother equally as heroic.
You're right, Sheriff. Ain't no sense taking chances.
Face that wall. Brace your hands up against it. All right, that way. Clint, keep an eye on the store.
Sure, Clay.
Somebody to see you, Barker. You got 5 minutes.
Hello, Reed.
You sure took your sweet time getting here.
Come as fast as I could. Reed, I told you would help.
Sheriff, would you mind, could my brother and I have a couple of minutes privacy?
Sorry.
It's all right, Sheriff. Say, Seth, you remember that farewell party that you had in mind? Well, we're going to forget all about it. Understand?
But, it's all planned.
Now, I said forget it. You see, I've had an awful lot of time to think since I've been in here. And, well, I've seen the error of my ways. I should have lived a better life, more like the sheriff and all of his men.
Sure, Reed. That's right.
You remember the way it was back in Topeka?
Topeka?
About 2 years ago, that guy that was going to die.
Oh, sure. I remember.
You remember that? Well, you remember how he repented near the end? Well, that's the way I want to go.
Oh, sure.
I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go and see Paul. Last I heard, he was living just outside of town. Poor old man, he never did have much, and I think if you was to give him $1,000, I think it'd be real pleasurable to him.
I'll do that, Reed.
You have my word on it.
Yeah.
Time's up.
You go and see Pa as soon as you can, huh?
I will, Reed.
Bye, son.
It's all yours, Quint.
Right.
Farewell party, forget it. Like the sheriff and his men. Topeka. Why'd you underline that?
Topeka 2 years ago. It meant something, some kind of a plan. That part about forgetting the farewell party, I'm sure that has something to do with trying to break Reed out of jail. But he's not going to do that now. He's got some other kind of a plan. They talked it out right in front of me. A plan to get Reed out of jail.
Well, at least you can take all the precautions you need.
What precautions? I've done everything I can think of. It's got to be something I wouldn't think of. Something right there in that code. Like Reed telling Seth to give his pa $1,000.
Well, maybe he meant it. He stole over $20,000 that hasn't been found.
Yeah, but according to Seth, Reed has no other family. Just him.
I wish I had the Topeka files of 2 years ago. They might help. I'll tell you what. I'll write for him.
No, that might be too late.
Convinced that the conversation he had witnessed between Reed and Seth Barker was some sort of coded plan on the part of the brothers, Sheriff Clay Hollister rode out to talk to Noah Crane, the hangman. The sheriff was taking every precaution against any last-minute escape attempt on the part of the killer.
One hanging's just like any other. Now, why all the fuss, huh?
You just conduct the hanging, Noah. Let me take care of the arrangements.
What are the arrangements?
I'll let you know when the time comes.
You know, it must be true what people have been saying all over town.
What's that?
That you're scared someone's going to come in and take that boy away from you?
Nobody's going to take the boy, Noah. You just buy yourself that new rope. You'll be using it.
See something?
Just a couple of hours to go. If somebody's going to grab Barker, it'll have to be soon.
Has he given you any hint that he's expecting help?
No, not in so many words. He just doesn't act like a man who knows he's going to die.
Well, what are the chances, Clay? I mean, what if a dozen or so men suddenly rode into town? Could they take him?
I don't think so. In the first place, they couldn't surprise us. I've got men hidden out there. No, it's not that I'm worried about. It's the unknown. There's something going on that we don't know about.
Hey, what's going on?
Dawn, Reed. Time to go.
Dawn. Not going to be much of an audience, is there?
It's the idea. Won't be anybody there but the necessary witnesses and the guards.
Yeah? What kind of a day is it? Nice day for a hanging?
Is there such a thing?
Hey, get your hands off of me. Now, you listen to me, Sheriff. You're looking at one man who is not afraid to die.
Looks like you're afraid I might get away, Sheriff.
My job to see you don't.
Anytime you're ready, Judge.
Reed Barker, by legal order of a duly appointed court of law.
All right, now, isn't it enough? I had to listen to that stuff once. Now, let's get it over with.
Do you want to say anything before this sentence is carried out?
No.
You want a blindfold?
No.
What? Oh! That's right. It broke. Now, get me loose.
You're gonna have to go back to jail till we get a ruling on this.
Well, you can't hang me twice. That's the law, isn't it, Judge?
If it was an act of God.
What if it wasn't? What if it was a deliberate accident?
If you can prove criminal conspiracy, then I'll reschedule the execution.
Now, just a minute. What do you mean, prove? Now, the rope broke, so I'm free. Now, what have you got to prove?
We'll see.
Reed Barker had been hanged, and he was still alive. And one thing was certain, the rope had not been cut.
What happened to it, Noah? You're responsible. What happened?
I don't know. It was brand new, the same as always.
Yeah. Look, Judge, this didn't just happen.
Can you produce proof?
Well, give me some time.
The law states that if a criminal survives an execution and there's no proof of criminal conspiracy, he is absolved of all the crimes with which he was charged.
You're turning loose a murderer.
Now, you heard what the judge said. Now, you've got to turn me loose.
All right, Quinn, unlock him.
Thank you kindly, Sheriff.
Don't thank me.
Well, gents, who's going to join me at the Oriental? You know, an ordeal like this gives a man a mighty dry throat. I'll thank you if you'd return my gun to me, Sheriff.
Quinn, take care of it.
Looks like he's a mite scared, Reed.
You're like he just saw a ghost.
I drank you.
Yes, sir.
You did pretty good.
You can always trust me, Reed.
Yeah. Hey, what did you have to pay?
2,000.
2,000? You sure don't care how you spend my money.
Well, I got him down from 5. It was worth it at twice the money.
Yeah.
Reed, let's get out of here. I got us a couple of horses.
Now, just sit down and relax. Look, I am a free man. I don't have to run from anybody, and I can stay here as long as I want, forever if I want to.
Sure you can. Only that little old tin can bank over in Bartleyville, it's not going to stay full of gold forever. I figure we best be moving.
Now, I'm still doing the figuring the same as always. And I figure we're going to stay here until tonight. You see, it's not every day that you get to pick up an easy $2,000.
Reed.
Hmm?
You're not figuring on taking that money back.
Back from my friend? The one you gifted my $2,000 to? Well, now, he can't stick it. He can't stick it in the bank. And if somebody was to take it from him, he can't complain to the sheriff. All right? Now, relax.
It had to be a trick. Clay, we went over every inch of those gallows. There wasn't a thing. Noah's been the hangman for years. We know he bought the rope brand new, same as always.
I know. So we're right back where we started from.
What is it?
You tell me.
Kind of a sharp odor. Gunpowder?
No, I don't think so. It smells to me more like some kind of an acid.
That's what it is, all right. Hydrochloric acid.
Well, how would you apply it to the rope, Doc? Just dip it in?
Not necessarily. As a matter of fact, that acid is so powerful that, well, it would eat through the rope immediately.
Well, suppose you wanted the rope to break when a certain amount of weight was pulling on it. But you had to make sure that if anybody examined it first, it would look and feel just like an ordinary rope. How would you do it?
Well, I think I'd use a medicine dropper. A few drops of the acid on the inside strand so it wouldn't show.
That's it. I think you've got your proof.
Doc, can you spare some of that in a medicine dropper?
Sure, Clay.
Harris, I want you to do me a favor. Get me a new rope. Then go down to the blacksmith shop. Tell him I want to borrow an anvil. Have him deliver it to the gallows.
An anvil?
Weighing about 180 pounds.
Afraid exactly like the first one. But who?
It was never very friendly, but then hanging people and digging graves isn't a very friendly way of life, or one that pays very well.
You ain't got no right to accuse me of anything, Sheriff. And that newspaper man got no right nosing around my place.
He's acting as my deputy, Noah. You know, I think we're going to prove that you doctored that rope. Might go easier on you if you confessed first.
No, you ain't making much sense, Sheriff. I always done my job fair, and anybody...
do you got, Harris? The acid?
Nope. $2,000.
Yes, sir. $2,000. That's what we're going to pick us up tonight.
Anytime you say, Reed.
Well, I say right now. Any objections?
Oh, no, sir, Mr. Barker. No objections.
No, sir, Mr. Barker. Let me tell you something, Mr. Bartender. This here's the town that tried to hang me, only they couldn't. Not Reed Barker, because he's the only man that's tougher than Tombstone.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Barker.
That's right, Mr. Barker. You know that's right, Mr. Barker. And I want you to give that sheriff of yours a message. You tell him that Reed Barker's not finished with him.
Reed! They got the hangman. Sheriff's headed this way. He's coming for you, Reed.
Well, good. You go out there and tell him I left. I go around the back way and get him while he's talking to you. Go on.
Hello, Sheriff.
Drop the gun belt.
Yeah. Mind if I ask you what I did?
Where is he?
Old Reed? He left here a while ago.
Come on out, Barker.
You didn't hang me anyway.
Clay? Huh? These just came. Those Topeka papers from 2 years ago. A little late. But look here. It explains what Reed was talking about.
Yeah.
A condemned killer bribed a hangman to have the rope break.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't you interested?
Yeah, I'm interested. Just playing around with his code. Paul, of course, meant Noah, and the $1,000 was the amount of bribe that Reed thought Seth should offer. So, what happened to your Topeka killer?
Well, he got away with it for a while. They discovered the plot when the hangman started throwing money around.
I guess Reed would have gotten away with it, too, if he hadn't stayed here. Instead, he killed his brother.
And got killed.
Yeah. At one time, he told the truth.
How do you mean?
He said he wouldn't hang. He didn't.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
It's Kyle Dodge, gang leader and killer. The other, a United States Marshal, the man responsible for escorting Kyle Dodge through Tombstone to the territorial prison at Yuma. This is the way they arrived.
$0.25 for breakfast and a nickel tip. Prices are going up and up.
There's no telling where they'll stop.
Well, there's one thing certain. If they go much higher, I'll have to ask the city council for a raise.
Take it easy, Marshal.
I hope you have a nice, strong jail, Sheriff. I was ambushed a couple of miles back.
Get Doc Cunningham.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone Territory. Sheriff Hollister had sent for the Tombstone physician, Doc Cunningham, to aid the dying marshal and his wounded prisoner, Kyle Dodge. Clay, this is Dr. Buell. Doc Cunningham was out on a call.
Dr. Buell. Haven't seen him in town before.
Well, he's just in town for a few days. I was lucky to get him.
Maybe, maybe not. Where'd you find him?
He came up and introduced himself. Said he heard you needed a doctor. What's eating you? You're meaner than a stepped-on rattler.
I'll tell you later.
No, there's nothing I can do about him. He's dead. I'll take a look at Dodge now. You be good enough to show the way, Sheriff?
Tell me, Doctor, how did you know that I had a wounded prisoner?
Why, that's common gossip. It's all over town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The patient, Sheriff.
I suppose you have proof that you are a physician.
Why,
Now, wait a minute, Clay. That's going a little far, don't you think?
Well, Dr. Buell?
Well, I've never been asked to identify myself before, but as long as you insist.
The doctor volunteered his services, Clay.
All right. I'll be watching you closely.
Nice of you to drop by. I was getting lonesome.
I'm not sure. Do you want to get a look at that shoulder?
Sure, Doc. How's the marshal?
Your friends did a good job.
Always said being a lawman was a dangerous profession.
Yeah. Especially when you have to worry about being shot in the back from ambush.
It's just a flesh wound. You'll live.
For a long time, I hope. There's a nice big cell waiting for you up at Yuma Penitentiary.
Talking's one thing. Getting me there's another.
You'll get there.
That's just your opinion. I got some friends who think differently. The marshal found out the hard way.
Well, your friends don't seem to have been much help so far.
I got a bad break, that's all. If it hadn't been for an accident, I'd have gotten away during the ambush.
What do you mean, an accident?
When the marshal was bushwhacked, Dodge here went for his gun. And in the struggle, Dodge got himself shot. Just a minute, Doc. Take your hand out of the bag real easy. Now move up here. This part of your medical equipment?
man's got a right to carry a gun, hasn't he, Sheriff?
Yeah. But in your case, it's a little unusual. It's your profession to heal, not hurt.
I'm traveling across dangerous country. Even a doctor's got the right to defend himself. I'll take that back now.
Sure. Just send me your bill. I'll make sure you get paid.
Thank you. And I'll include the price of 6 bullets with my statement. Good day, gentlemen.
Little jumpy, aren't you, Hollister? Make sure you lock it up good. Your bird might get out and fly away.
I made arrangements for the marshal.
Thanks. I guess you're wondering about the way I treated Buell.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call your attitude normal.
While you were out looking for a doc, the marshal was able to tell me a few facts about Kyle Dodge.
Well, he's a tough customer, and that's a fact.
And he's got a lot of friends out of the same mold. Dodge and his gang have been raiding the small towns in the eastern part of the state. The only one they could capture was Dodge himself.
Well, then how many of that gang do you suppose are in Tombstone now?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And you think Dr. Buell could be one of them?
Could be.
Dodge seemed pretty confident. Suppose he's counting on those men getting him out?
According to the marshal, Dodge is the only one who knows where all the money from the raids is stashed. They've got to try to free him.
Yep. They tried it once. They'll make the attempt again.
And my deputy's out of town. Well, I need some help.
Anything I can do.
All right. I gotta go out for a while. You keep an eye on things here. Oh, and lock this door. I want to keep all the friends I've got.
Sheriff Clay Hollister moved quickly to arrange for Kyle Dodge's safe delivery to the Yuma prison. His plan would take time, but he was determined that Dodge would not escape the law again.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound, nothing serious. Well, if it isn't Tombstone's esteemed sheriff. You've come to quiet your nerves with a drink?
I think you could prescribe a better remedy. These gentlemen friends of yours?
Acquaintances, Mr. Boland, Mr. Andrews, Sheriff Hollister.
Howdy, Sheriff. Glad to meet you.
Planning on staying in town long?
Hard to say. Depends on how long it takes to get our business done. Might take a week, might take a day. Hard to tell.
What is your business, Mr. Boland?
Cattle. Got a ranch down on the New Mexico line.
Oh, well, that's Kyle Dodge's hunting ground, isn't it?
It was until they caught him.
Dodge never bothered us none, though. Here you got him locked up here in Tombstone.
You know, for a couple of fellows that just arrived in town, you're well supplied with information.
I've been telling him about Dodge. Sheriff's a very suspicious man.
Can't say that I blame him.
Say, Sheriff, what are you going to do about Dodge? You going to take him back to Yuma prison yourself?
No, I just sent this off a couple of minutes ago.
Oh. Yuma prison. Request you send officer to take custody of prisoner Kyle Dodge. Will hold until marshal arrives. Signed, Sheriff Clay Hollister, Tombstone Territory. Yeah.
You should have a man here in a couple of days.
A couple of days could be a long time. Anything could happen.
I'll be extra careful.
The sheriff looks like a man that can handle himself.
Yeah. Dead Marshal looked like a man that could handle himself. Didn't help him any.
Dodge is going to prison. Nothing is going to prevent him getting there.
Set him up.
November 7, 1882. Kyle Dodge was still safely locked up in the Tombstone jail. His next step, the penitentiary at Yuma. Yet the notorious prisoner appeared to be unconcerned.
Looks good enough to eat, but you got something. Where's the knife and fork? I can't cut anything with this.
I know.
What's the matter, Hollister? Don't you trust me? I never did like to eat alone. Why don't you hang around?
What for?
I thought we could talk a little. What kind of salary do you make, Hollister?
Enough.
$78 a month and you furnish your own horse. Big deal.
Are you worried about my future?
I hate to see a man miss a good opportunity.
Good opportunity?
How would you like to make $5,000, Hollister?
It's a lot of money.
Man could work all his life and never save that much.
Maybe.
I got plenty of money. All you have to do is let me out of here. 5,000. What do you say, Hollister?
You're wasting your time.
All you'll ever get out of this town is a bullet and a cheap funeral in Boot Hill.
Eat your food. It's getting cold.
Night. As Clay Hollister made his final check of the town, he was doubly alert. He felt certain that Dodge's gang would attempt to release him. They had tried it before, and a U.S. Marshal was dead.
Sheriff Hollister?
Something I can do for you, ma'am?
I'd like to talk to you for a moment, Sheriff.
Come right in. Yes, ma'am?
I want to see Kyle Dodge, please.
I'm sorry. The prisoner isn't allowed any visitors.
Not even his wife? We were married a little over a year ago in Tucson.
I didn't even know he had a wife.
We kept it a secret.
Even to the extent of not wearing a wedding ring?
You don't wear a wedding ring when you don't want people to know you're married.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to doubt your word, but you're going to have to show me some proof that you are married to Dodge.
Oh, would a wedding picture help?
It might.
This proof enough for you?
I guess so.
Put your guns on the desk. Don't do anything we'll both be sorry about, Sheriff. Now, you better take me to see Kyle Dodge. After you. All right, open it.
I told you I wouldn't be here long, Hollister. Better do like the lady says.
Not this time, boy. We better go back into my office and discuss this a little further.
I feel like such an awful fool.
Anytime you're ready, start talking.
My name is Lydia Dawson.
How'd you meet Kyle Dodge?
Up until a few moments ago, I'd never seen him before.
I'm supposed to believe that?
It's the truth. Dodge and his gang raided Colton City 4 months ago. My father ran the bank. They killed him.
Go on.
There's nothing more to say. Except I wanted to pay Dodge back.
You weren't trying to set him free?
No, I wanted to kill him.
In the meantime, you better stay in town.
I'm staying at the hotel. Could I have my gun back, please?
For the time being, it might be better for both of us if I keep it. Dawson?
Good morning, Sheriff.
How long have you known Dr. Buell?
For quite a while. He's from my hometown.
Oh?
Why?
Just curious.
Could I have my gun back now?
I'm sorry, Miss Dawson. I haven't heard from Colton City yet.
You will, Sheriff.
November 11, 1882. A lone rider on the trail outside of Tombstone. The man who rode in answer to Clay Hollister's telegram.
Sheriff Hollister?
That's right.
U.S. Deputy Marshal Kennedy.
Oh, good to meet you. Come on in. You didn't waste any time getting here.
Well, the quicker we get Dodge to Yuma, the better.
This is Harris Clyburn, the editor of the Epitaph.
Hello, Marshal.
How do you do?
You got any credentials on you?
Oh.
Thanks.
I thought sure the Marshal's office would send more than one man.
Good enough. Yeah, there are a lot of strangers in town. No telling how many of them are members of Dodge gang.
Well, Dodge is going to Yuma on the stagecoach. All we got to worry about is getting him aboard. I can handle it from there.
When do you want to go?
There's a coach leaving for Yuma in 20 minutes. I can make it.
I'll get him.
Need some help?
No, thanks. All right. Let's go, Dodge.
Where are we going, Hollister?
Out of one jail into another one. I'll turn him over to you at the stagecoach.
Sure.
You'll never make it, Hollister. 2 of you won't be enough.
Or maybe 3 of us will shorten the odds some.
Keep your eyes open. Looks like you've got some company to see you off. Harris, cover Buell and the girl. You can take him now.